August. Today's lineup. Optimus Prime V 최성훈, MVP 킨 황규석, OGS 탑 김정훈, MVP 지니어스 정민수.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you from Seoul, Korea in the Mokdong studio. I'm here with Wolf, and today we are bringing you the round of 8 of Code S. And Wolf, I know this is very important to you. I hope you don't mind me telling everyone that don't worry. At the end of that last K-pop video, the girl actually goes and kills the guy who beat her up.
Yeah,
so justice is served.
It is. It's very important.
It has kind of a depressing end, but the video actually gets cut off by the GSL.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. We always end up seeing that video where like there's a girl getting beaten up by a guy and then the GSL comes on. It's like the most
She's like crying on the ground and it's like, oh, that's like the saddest thing ever. Don't worry. She gets up and caps him.
Yeah, she gets her revenge. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
There is justice in the world, and we will see soon if there is justice in the GSL. We're going to have some awesome games here today. We're going to start off with Keen versus Optimus. Sorry about that. Almost slipped up.
Yeah, we have a tendency to call him Polt. I mean, he's been around. He's been around a while. Back in the open season #1, he was doing timing attacks that we all see now, like the Marine Banshee tank timing attack. He was doing that back then. And he also brought a Raven sometimes, and then it started being called the Tasteless build for a while. And also, he was the guy who first did the one-base battlecruiser rush against Spunky, who in the open season 1 was in the intro. It's your turn to fly. He looks up, there's a battlecruiser there, and then Polt kills him with a one-base battlecruiser rush.
Wow.
Ironic? I think it's a little ironic.
That's wow. The people who made the intro were like fortune tellers. They see the future. Remember to check out GOMTV's Twitter, by the way.
Yep.
Right there. And if you have a mobile device, m.gomtv.net. I was actually using that the other day. You can actually just pull up the VODs and like watch them on your iDevice as well. Your mobile
really
device.
Nice.
It actually works pretty well.
You can do it on any mobile device. You can also do it on your PC as well. So
there you go.
Really easy.
And remember the Pepsi GSL event. Tweet us some photos, including Pepsi. We're going to announce some winners during the August broadcast and send you guys some shirts. That's pretty sweet, man. So film yourself, take pictures of yourself like drinking Pepsi playing Starcraft or like drinking Pepsi doing a 720 off of a snowboard or something
that'd be
awesome.
Pretty sick. Look at Nick and Dan over there. They have the Pepsi there.
Yeah, you could just be Tastosis and drink Pepsi and you'd be being awesome in that sense.
Yeah.
There you go. And remember, hashtag Pepsi and GSL when you send your Twitter photos. There you go.
Yeah, definitely drink Pepsi. I've got actually
cool, man. If you come down to the studio, by the way, you can actually buy those GSL shirts as well. And sometimes we actually have shirts that are autographed by some of the players.
Yeah, you get signed autographed photos as well with these, and you can get free Pepsi products as well.
Right.
That's where I got that. It's like turned a little bit wrong.
There we go. Yeah, so welcome to GSL Code S. This is the round of 8. Tastosis are on their way back right now from MLG.
Yes, there.
That was an awesome event. Really, really cool stuff. I was watching it live most of the time. I actually stayed up till 10 a.m. I didn't wake up at like 10 a.m. I actually stayed up all night to watch a couple of days. So that was good stuff. And they're going to be back tomorrow, but today we have Keen versus Polt. Sorry, Optimus. I gotta stop that.
Yeah, it's Optimus, a little difficult.
Optimus. And that's actually going to be a really exciting matchup because Optimus, of course, has really become a big force on the scene lately, and Keen's kind of like coming up here, and he's been beating a lot of players that no one really expected him to beat, and really showing his stuff. So curious to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, I think Keen's one of those players who knocks out top players sometimes. He doesn't play very consistently. I think that's Keen's biggest problem, is that even though he's really good, sometimes he lacks some consistency. So we'll see how he does today. Now here's our brackets. Yeah, Optimus Prime versus Keen, of course, and Top versus Genius will be later today. And tomorrow we have MVP versus Huck. That should be an awesome match. And Ryung versus July. Tastosis will be back, of course, tonight. So tomorrow they'll be casting those matches for you guys.
Yeah. And then, of course, later on today we're going to have Genius versus Top. That's going to be interesting as well. That's another one of those matches where I'm like, I actually have no idea who's going to win that.
Yeah, it's going to be really close, I think. It's really hard to say about those guys. Really hard to judge the matchups today because
Yeah.
I think Optimus is probably a more consistent player than Keen, but Keen has been known to just go crazy and win matches.
Yeah. No, I mean, so Optimus, I think no one thought he was going to win the Super Tournament. Everyone's like, oh, MMA, this is his time to fly. He is totally going to win the Super Tournament. And Optimus comes out and freaking 4-0s that kid, man.
Yeah, 4-0.
Just out of nowhere, just tore him apart. And, like, that wasn't it. Like, Optimus has actually beaten a lot of really good players lately. I mean, you'd think, like, TVT, like, statistically isn't his best matchup, but he beat MMA, like, a few times. He actually lost to Bomber and Codas last season, but he's beaten MMA recently as well. He's beaten Noblesse recently. He's beaten a few other good players. Then, on the other hand, Keen is here because he beat Bomber.
Yeah.
Like, the one Terran that Optimus has not been able to beat, Keen just beat in order to get to the round of 8, man. So this could actually be a really, really competitive match. I have no idea what's going to happen here because both players, both of them are the kind of players that, like, randomly beat the best players.
Very true.
Even though they're not really, like,
they're not
flashy.
considered the best players. Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, I gotta say, I've been really impressed with both of these guys, and what I'm really kind of wondering about is what sort of builds we're gonna see, because Polt has been known to do all sorts of strange builds. He likes to go very Marauder heavy sometimes, and sometimes he likes to completely avoid mech, although that's become the trend now. So we'll see if he decides to use that mech style. Keen has used a variety of styles as well, so neither of these guys have, like you were saying, they're not flashy. You don't go, oh, Polt, he's the guy who does this style, or it's not like Marine King where you kind of know, or MMA where you just kind of know what he's going to do. Very...
Yeah. And at the same time, I also kind of meant they're not quite the players that they don't, like, do amazing things. They just focus on, winning through their, like, very solid play style, that kind of thing. So... And yeah, man, speaking of, like, no trends, like, if you watched the TVT Code A finals yesterday, like, every single style was used in that match. So,
very true.
Like, anything can happen in TVT right now. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at, there's some of our audience, actually, a ton of foreigners in the house today. Actually, there's usually about half, like, non-Koreans in the audience here at GSL. It's actually pretty cool. Like, not even just, like, some days, every single day. And there's Optimus.
Yeah, formerly known as Polt. His ranking is 5th. He's got quite a few GSL points. You can see his record there is pretty impressive. Recently taken out Noblesse, losing to MVP, but that's no shame in that.
Nope.
But taking out MMA, pretty impressive result there. Win rate versus Terran, actually less than 50% right now in his recent matches, but even so, he's shown so many incredible TVTs that you can kind of write that off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his rate is a little bit less just because he lost to Bomber and Codas last season. He lost to MVP. He lost a game to MMA. And he lost a game to Puma in the GSTL. So, like, I mean, he's been losing, but he's been losing to, like, the best Terrans only. So you can't really fault him too much for that. And in his career, he's actually over 50% versus Terran.
Very true. Now here's his opponent, Keen. Looks a little nervous. He's ranking 51st, a little bit lower, but he hasn't been in Codas for very long. Of course, getting here by knocking down Alicia and Coca in his group stages, and then, like you said, advancing over Bomber 2-1. His win rate versus Terran, 42%, but there's only 7 games shown there. Not very indicative of his overall skill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he actually has about that percentage win rate in his career as well. But yeah, just the fact that he could beat Bomber really indicates, I mean, you could play really badly for years and years and years and then get really good, and your career percentage isn't going to mean as much as beating Bomber in the round of 16.
Exactly.
So,
some more results for these guys. And, you can see kind of who they've matched up against. And then recently, both of these guys are 5-5, as you guys can see. So, very, very recently, their last 10 matches, they've both gone 5-5, beating really good players, but also losing some games. This is going to be a really even match. It's hard to judge, I have to say. There's no real favorite here. I think Optimus might be just slightly favored.
Yeah, I think Optimus is the favorite just because of sheer results.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Optimus has really proven himself a lot more than Keen. This is kind of Keen's proving ground. If Keen can beat Optimus, I think he will definitely have established himself as one of the top Terrans. I think he's not quite set as one of those just yet. So this is really a challenge for Keen more than Optimus.
I would agree. So proving ground for him.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, I think that's why Optimus is favored. He's just kind of, he's already done it, man. He's already taken a title. He's already gotten deep into Code S previously, whereas Keen has yet to. I mean, this is his first time getting anywhere deep into Code S, and he's actually gotten the round of 8 so far, so that's nothing to scoff at. The first map is going to be dual side, as you can see there. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Optimus did not want to play on Daybreak. Keen did not want to play on Crossfire, so dual side is going to be the first game. Will the hero Optimus of the Super Tournament take an early lead, or will Keen come out on top and begin to prove himself? We're going to find out in just a minute.
At the GSL.
At the GSL. Code S coming at you. All right, over here on the right side of the map, in the red, is, I think, the favorite of this match. He has a Super Tournament championship under his belt. He's already won tens of thousands of US dollars in the GSL. And are they even going to give him an intro? Maybe not. That was Optimus. Sorry. And here's his opponent. Really has to prove himself here in the round of 8. He's MVP Keen, because we don't get the intros today.
Yeah, I heard them on the Korean stream behind this, so I'm guessing it was probably just a bug. But your intros are just as good.
All right.
You're not a cute girl, but that's okay.
Not yet. Or maybe not anymore.
I don't know, man. It's always going to be a mystery.
Those are some fancy signs. I
Yeah,
think those are the same.
there.
Yeah, those are the same girls that were putting up fancy signs here yesterday, and they were like geeking out, taking pictures of themselves with the Korean commentators.
Yeah, they.
It's kind of funny.
Very happy to meet them.
Korean commentators are actually really cool people, by the way.
They are. They're quite popular in Korea. There's a huge line for autographs at finals usually when people meet up there.
So Keen's gonna start off by heading out with an SCV a little bit earlier than Optimus. They both going for the same build, it looks like. Actually,
no,
Keen
Optimus
have his
is
gas.
Optimus is gasless.
Oh,
He's
okay.
gonna one racks expand. And this is going to be spotted by Keen's quick little SCV scout.
SCV ready.
So he's going to be very pleased with seeing that. He's actually just going to go ahead and send that SCV home. Nothing else to see. Nothing to see here.
Oh, but he goes back in.
A little bit questionable decision, but does keep the SCV alive.
Well, I mean, it might have been the sort of thing where you see the SCV even leave and you're like, oh, now he's not going to see when I put down 2 gas and go cloak Banshee, and so he wanted to poke in and like double check.
Yeah.
After he left, but
or it could be one of those crazy 6 barracks all in. Ooh! Now we've seen actually people try to do this to Polt before. In fact, MMA in the Super Tournament Finals tried to do this build against Polt, and it didn't work. Now remember, we keep saying Polt. He changed his name to Optimus because he was the first Prime player to win a championship.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. They're like, all right, Prime's like, okay, the first one of us to win a championship will be Optimus. Wink, wink, Marine King. And then like Polt wins it, and he's like, oh, I guess I'm Optimus now. Sorry, Marine King.
The Marine King's been struggling a little bit recently, but I'm sure he'll bounce back. Now that first ghost is on the way. Remember, Snipe can one-shot a Marine before combat shields are out.
Yeah.
So on top of that, it does do bonus damage to light units. So even without Snipe, it does form a pretty good support unit.
Yeah, and so it's a really cool kind of a rush that you can do, and he's actually going to put down a command center. That's really interesting. So I guess he is still going to go for a little bit of a rush.
Here's what happens is if Optimus doesn't make a bunker, he might actually just die. That's what can happen with this situation. But
well, he's only sending out 1 ghost and 1 marine, but he has 3 barracks, so I think Optimus is probably going to be able to get enough units before then. He's going to be okay. If it was like a few Marines, then he might be a little bit worried, but he's only going to have like 2 snipes or maybe 3.
Yeah, by the looks of it, he's going to have 3.
And here he comes in. He's going to send in the SCV and the Marine first. Snipes. Oh, and he actually tries to get the Ghost out of there instead of going the extra couple snipes and just loses the Ghost with about 50 energy on it.
A little bit sloppy there.
So that was fail. And yeah, so Optimus, you're right. Like when he left his base, Optimus had like 2 Marines, but with the 3 barracks, he just had more than enough to deal with that.
Interestingly enough, there's an SCV trap behind the Ghost Academy as well, so Keen losing an SCV there. That's also taking up supply. SCV can't get out. The Ghost Academy and the tree are blocking him in.
Wow. It's a bit silly.
And the second Ghost holds off the scouting SCV, but does see the command center.
That one's kind of a defensive Ghost.
Yeah, so he's keeping these Ghosts out now, and like you're saying, they can be quite defensive. It looks like actually Optimus wants to push out. Now these 2 Ghosts are going to be quite helpful along with the bunker, so I don't think this is going to do too much damage, but it does force, of course, the bunker in the first place.
What he's going to have to hope to do is get some snipes off and then jump in the bunker with those Ghosts.
The one Marauder is going to do extra damage.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty tough to hold. In fact, I'm not sure if he can hold this.
No, it's actually going to be really close. It depends on if he gets those snipes
and remember,
off.
combat shields are out, so
nice.
Has to do double snipes on these Marines. Does get a few of those.
Does get combat shields. Nice. I see.
But even so, now he's kind of out of energy, and Optimus is just going to sneak around the back here. Well, he's trying to decide if he wants to. He's being a little indecisive. Does decide to go around, pulling the weakened Marines away. Doesn't have concussive shell on that Marauder, so he can't slow the Ghosts.
Nice. He snipes and then goes in and actually gets one last shot off on the injured Marines. Good move there by Keen, really making use of those Ghosts, and so basically barely holds it off with 3 Ghosts.
Now, what Keen has now is a factory producing siege tanks. He's already got 1 tank out. His siege mode is already done, whereas Optimus is adding more barracks and making medevacs. So we're going to have this clash of styles here as Keen goes towards the more tech path, the more tank-heavy army, whereas his opponent is trying to use this mobile bio style. And in the long run, Keen's army is going to win out, but will Optimus use that mobility to put Keen down before that can happen? To find out.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see if that happens now. Keen is actually also getting stim here, so I guess maybe he's going to go for like tank marine style is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
Since he's also got a few barracks.
Exactly, he's adding reactors to those, so he's going to be going tank marine. Now eventually Optimus will start switching into the same as, in fact, he just finished his tech lab on his factory, his supply blocked, but he'll be making tanks soon.
There you go.
So we're going to see tank marine versus tank marine essentially.
And
with some Ghosts in the mix.
Pretty sizable force moving across the map for Optimus, actually, and he's going to go in here. He's going to have stim in mere moments. Now, there are 2 siege tanks sieged up behind Keen's bunker, so if they get a good volley off, this attack will not work, but it's possible he could just pick off those tanks really quick. I think it might be a little bit too... Yeah, he scans, sees that, and just has to fall back.
Yeah, I'd rather see him drop, to be honest.
Yeah,
be a much better decision.
And there's 2 Ghosts and a medevac in the back of his base to stop drops. That's interesting.
Yeah, if he does a marine drop, he can snipe a ton of those, keep the Ghosts alive with the medevac. SCV sneaked all the way into the natural there, but didn't see a whole lot. Then he scanned afterwards, and
that was
a little bit weird. Doesn't see anything more there.
Yeah, he already saw that area. Why did he scan that spot? Maybe he wanted to see the army composition.
Yeah, maybe he was like, well, oops, I didn't quite catch what killed my SCV, what killed it.
That happens to me sometimes where I'm like, I'm going to be so clever, I'm going to send a Zergling into their base, see what their army's like, and I get the little alert thing where it's like, your unit's under attack, and I look over there and it died, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen. Well, this dropship is spotted. It's filled up with 2 Ghosts and 4 Marines. And actually, yeah, he's going to be very careful with that. He's going to take this Marine out. But, of course, this alerts Optimus to what's going on. Shouldn't lose any units to this drop. Going to take out this other Marine as well. He's got Marines everywhere, actually. You guys can see, notice on the map, our observer was just kind of pointing it out. Optimus has a Marine set at every expansion and all over the map, so that basically he can see anything. He's got both the watchtowers, and Keen is looking a little trapped here. You can't move out, he can't be very mobile.
Yeah, and it looks like he still wants to drop that Medevac with 2 Ghosts and 4 Marines in it. He's still going to go up into the main. There is a turret right in the exact path. He scanned the main.
And he scanned, he didn't see the
but
turret,
he didn't see the turret. He could walk or fly right into it.
Oh, man, he's going to fly right into it. And gets the Ghost out, but not a whole lot else. He's going to snipe a lot of these SCVs. Meanwhile, Optimus is shelling his natural.
Wow, this is actually being really effective. He's sniping the crap out of all those SCVs. Gets almost every SCV in the mineral line of the main.
Yeah, 17 workers killed in total.
But yeah, Optimus now sieging outside of Keen's base. Oh, he's running a lot of bio in, but there's so many tanks. He's forced to fall back, but he loses about a third of his Marines in the process.
Oh, losing so many units here.
Losing even more now.
Tanks running into tank fire. And it looks like Keen's going to hold this pretty easily. In fact, he might be able to counterattack now.
Yeah.
Optimus does have a planetary at the north, but that's about to be dropped. There's going to be Marines behind it, so of course the planetary can't strike the Marines.
Oh.
Optimus can clean up though.
Yep. No major losses there. But Keen is moving across the map with a large force.
And Optimus sieged up first, but... Oh, Optimus having a much better concave here.
Marines coming from both angles, and there's just not enough Marines to buffer. And Optimus swoops in with a ton of Marines and takes out all of Keen's siege tanks.
And now he can actually just go into the main and do some dropship action. Looks like Keen's going to move forward, but he needs to be careful. There are way too many units there. He's trying to bait his opponent into the siege tanks, but now Optimus is sieged up on his cliff. This is going to be very difficult for Keen to deal with. He's moving a lot of his bio into the main, but Optimus has a larger bio force plus siege tank support.
Yeah, and he's within range to start shelling the buildings of Keen in his base. Not good at all.
Optimus also 1 Marine taking on an orbital in the south. Not going to work out, but did cause it to burn, forcing a repair there. And looks like Optimus is just going to run forward, baits a lot of the Marines into his siege tank fire. He's going to take out the starport here.
And Keen sieging up in a good spot of his own. Uh-oh, he might take out the starport. He does target down the starport. That is actually huge, and it looks like Optimus says, all right, I've done my damage. I'm just going to go home now with that.
He certainly can. Now, Keen needs to make something happen here. He needs to do a counterattack. He needs to do some sort of damage because he's behind so significantly. Right now, the tank count is 7-5 in Optimus' favor. That's pretty important. But the Marine count is 46 Marines for Optimus and just 30 for Keen. Yeah. He's got a much larger army. He can split it up. He can do all sorts of better concaves.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is Keen does have 70 workers to Optimus's, like, just 45. Under 45. So you can see that snipe attack against those SCVs really coming in handy in that sense, but that means he does have a smaller army, and here comes Optimus trying to use that superior army, swooping in here, is going to take out this third and at least get it to lift. Actually, it might just target it down. SCV's repairing. Is the orbital going to go down? Nope, tanks say no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, did kill a few SCVs there. Still about 20 SCVs behind though, and in fact, he's not mining from that planetary because Keen did a drop over there. It's going to be cleaned up here pretty shortly though.
Yep, and Viking's going to take care of the medevac as well. So Optimus returns to mining at that top base, and that means that even though he has less SCVs, he's actually got better mining right now.
Very true. As far as upgrades go, Optimus is at 1-1. Keen himself also at 1-1. The 2-2 upgrades a little bit more ahead for Optimus. They're going to finish just a few seconds before. That could come into play if they have an engagement here pretty soon. And
what are the mech upgrades, actually? I think Optimus is ahead on those.
Keen has no upgrades. Optimus has +1.
Yeah. So Optimus ahead in pretty much every upgrade, and he just finished 2-2.
Yeah, he's going to hit with this attack here, and he's going to have, of course, like you said, 2-2. He's going to have better upgrades than his opponent. It's going to be very difficult for Keen to hold, but luckily he does siege up in time. But his natural is very exposed. Luckily for him, though, he has that sensor tower. Uh-oh.
Oh, he sieges up, but it might be too late. Optimus' siege tanks get in position. He's just got so many more of them, and Keen's entire bio army goes down in 2 rounds of shells.
And in fact,
Optimus had his bio back, though, so he did lose a couple tanks.
And because of the positioning of the tanks for Optimus, he had the medevac spot for his, whereas Keen did not, so he took an extra shot there. And we may even see Optimus drop Marines on top of these tanks because there's no anti-air. There's nothing to stop him from doing that. But he does decide to retreat. He's not 100% sure how many units are up there, wants to be very safe about how he does this. He's going to go around the north and then still hit that same orbital. Just engaging from a different direction. As far as income goes, they're very, very even, despite the fact that Keen has extra SCVs.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, Keen he doesn't have that third base, and his main is mined out, so...
Yeah, he's starting to pull ahead now.
So he just can't... He's only basically mining off one base. I mean, his main is almost mined out.
Right.
3-3 now on the way for Optimus, by the way.
He's going to have those out much faster. Remember, he does have +1 of his tanks, whereas Keen does not, so Optimus definitely winning the upgrade war right now. That sensor tower at the south part of the map is really coming to play because Optimus never feels like he can do a counterattack to the natural. But he's actually just going to go for it now, and that sensor tower, as you can see there, coming into play.
Additional supply depots.
Yep, that sensor tower was able to sense its own demise incoming, and now Optimus sieging up right outside of Keen's natural. Keen was a little bit out of position. He's got to be very careful. Optimus can actually shell the orbital in his expansion. He might have to lift that, and if he does, man, he will not be mining at all.
Well, he does have that left base.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've completely missed that.
Yeah, he's got the 9 o'clock
My
base over
minimap
there.
is cut off on the screen, so I was like,
okay.
oh, Keen doesn't have a third, and like he actually does. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he does. He did just get that one up, but unfortunately for him, Optimus is also sending a force to the north to attack that very same base. There is a sensor tower, though, so we should spot it. A little drop over here, and it looks like he may just barely overpower Optimus's defenses.
Yep, the medevac coming in, being a little bit more effective than those superior upgrades. Vikings are going to take out the medevac, though, but there's a major battle. Oh, no, Keen runs all of his Marines in. Loses a lot, those couple siege tanks.
And look at this, at the 9 o'clock base, there's an attack taking out all of Keen's SCVs. Keen is in trouble, and his Marines in the main base of Optimus have been cleaned up. Look at this natural, it looks like it may fall.
He might just target, he targets down the natural before
Both
Keen
command
can respond.
centers fall.
And there's
GG.
the GG. Wow. Optimus outclassing Keen right there.
Yeah, and Keen had a solid opener. That ghost attack put Optimus behind an economy, but Optimus just kept attacking in all the right places.
Yeah. I mean, he had a bigger army, so he just used that to gain more map dominance, and then Keen couldn't really make use of the fact that he had more SCVs.
Well, the MVP coach decided to give Keen a lucky hat, so maybe he'll do a little bit better after that.
It's all about hats.
I don't know. He just came and patted him on the shoulder and gave him a hat. Maybe it's lucky. Maybe he puts the hat on. It's like Mario. He becomes invisible, or he turns metal and starts stomping around on things.
It's his thinking cap. So he can think more about. And I think it really goes all the way back to the beginning of the game. He went for that ghost rush and didn't do anything with it. Just lost his ghosts and got like one snipe off and was like, "Oh no, I gotta run away now." And he actually didn't kill any Marines because he was running away, and he still lost the ghost.
Yeah.
And I mean, at that point, Optimus he had control of the map for the entire rest of the game.
But his ghost defense was really awesome.
That's true. That's true. When he did go in there and try and do the counterattack, he like held it off. He held off like 16 Marines and a Marauder with like 3 ghosts.
Yeah, and honestly, part of that attack failing came down to Optimus being really nervous. It came down to fear. He was like, well, I'm not sure how many. There was only one unit in the bunker. He's like, I'm not sure if I can break this. And Optimus just kind of kept scaring him away. Rather, Keen kept scaring him away. And then eventually he was just like, he kept running back and forth and getting sniped, but not actually attacking. If he had just attacked, he would have probably won the game. But so nice decision making by Keen there, scaring his opponent away and keeping him at bay just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And Keen recovered quite well, I have to say.
Yeah, no, after that it did turn out pretty even for the most part. I think Optimus still kind of had a little bit more control of the situation after that. But anyway, we're going to get into Game 2. It's going to be on Bell Shear Beach. Optimus and Keen are like, you know what? That was such a harrying game. Let's go take a vacation. Let's go to the beach.
Yeah, they're going to the beach.
Get some rays. Go snorkeling, watch some scanopedes, swim around.
We've had some really, really long games on Belshire Beach, so maybe they'll have a long vacation.
We're going to find out, man. Keen is down a game. It's up to him to win this game, to bring it to a tie. Otherwise, Optimus is going to take a 2-0 lead and be in a commanding position in this best of 5. We're going to find out in mere moments who is going to take the game here at the GSL.